Hello, Nani. Welcome to Galatta Plus. Or rather,
Hi, sir.
thank you for welcoming me to this, this place where you shot this apparently very kid-friendly film, right? It's like
That actually kids can also play with it. It's a dummy one, so yeah.
I know, but I hope you're not giving it to
No,
kids.
no,
Yeah,
no.
yeah. So
Definitely no.
yeah,
Yeah.
but I this trailer for Hit 3, or rather the third case, has been released in Hindi also, Telugu, Kannada, Malayalam. Telugu obviously, but then Malayalam, Kannada, Tamil, and all that. So I don't know whether to call you natural star Nani or national star Nani.
No, please.
It's like
Don't call me anything. Just call me Nani. That's fine.
I'm like, you have to kind of do all these things when you're a star, right?
It's not. No, I don't look at it like that. But I'm just trying to. Definitely, I'm trying to reach out to more and more audience. And there's so much love happening with each film from different languages. Also because I think the kind of content we pick is I pick is especially I think it's not they're not looking at it like just Telugu film or anything like that. It's relatable to everyone. So I can see that number going up with each film. So I want to release every film in all these 5 languages and make sure that they have a very good quality, film in their own language to see. Is what I'm trying to do. So if it's whatever is coming from everywhere, it's all bonus. So it's not like trying to, make it one pan India film or to be a national star or anything like that.
Why
Not
not?
at
Change.
no, I understand why not. I'm not saying no, but I'm saying that it's not my approach to do that. I'm happy if that's that. As the love grows, I'm of course happy, and more people get to see the film, and more feedback I get. I'm very happy. But plan is not that.
Plan is
not to make some, this big number game or anything is not the plan. Plan is to make the film with the best quality available to as many people as possible.
See, now when you go across languages, there is also a slight change in sensibility of the audience. Like, for example, Malayalam cinema is a little different from Tamil Telugu cinema. That again, a little bit different from. So, do you try to find slightly common ground in the way you make the film, in the way you present the film?
Not at all.
Not really.
Not at all.
You're making a Telugu
No, for
movie.
example, I am the audience for Tamil cinema, Malayalam cinema, Telugu cinema, everywhere.
Right.
I see a lot of Malayalam films. I appreciate them. I leave a message if I know them, and I will share it with everyone. There are so many of my favorite films in the recent times which came from Malayalam cinema, and I've always been a big fan of Tamil cinema. I've always watched Tamil films. So I am a good audience of all these films. No, so one script excites me. I feel it has something of Malayalam, something of Tamil, something of Telugu. Not trying to balance things, but I genuinely believe if I am I am someone who liked Malayalam films, I like Tamil films, I like Telugu films. If I am liking it, it has a chance of all of them also liking it.
Yeah.
Now that you asked me this question, I'm explaining this, but not that I think of all these things, but I do what I like, and I'm realizing that they are being liked by all. So I don't extra plan it, or I don't try to think about those things because it's working out.
Right.
Just being sincere to what I felt and why I'm making films is working out. So I'm just continuing that.
What is that shirt?
This is our designer's creativity. It says A.
Okay.
Arjun Sarkar.
That's good. That's your character.
Also, there's a little bit of red in it, so I think red is the theme.
That is the theme, yeah. I want to keep reaching out and look and showing all these props. And maybe I'll take one home on the flight. They'll really like that,
Oh, that would be very interesting.
Yeah, one of the interesting things that happened this year is that you guys reunited for the 10th year of Evade Subramaniam.
Yeah.
That was like, so when that movie was being made, nobody knew who Nagashan was. Maybe some people knew who Nani was. Vijay Deverakonda was also fairly new.
Yeah.
And now,
it's first
first one. So now you're talking about the guy who was in Hit the Third Case and Saripota Sena and all that, the guy who made Kalki, and the guy who's going to come in Kingdom and who's in all these other films.
Yeah.
When you guys met up, after that big journey, like now after 10 years, what was that like? It was
meeting the college friends after all of you settled in jobs and having kids and families and stuff like that. But the thing is, I've always been in touch with Nagi and Vijay. We always talk on the calls, or after seeing our films, we'll always wish each other. And Nagi, literally, Swapna, Nagi, they're all family also. They'll come home, we put our Ayappa Swami mala together, me, Nagi. So we have traveled a lot, and the kids are friends. And so we are in touch. But to see the entire team that night and actually see the film put on a screen and actually revisit it was a little, suddenly the check, the reality check happened.
Did you get emotional?
It felt very emotional to see the entire team, and it was very nostalgic also, where we were watching the film and I was thinking, oh, my acting looks concham bad now. You understood? I remember it looking nice only in my head, but when I was watching with the team, I was like, I'm being a little typical, one template kind of acting in few scenes. In few scenes, it was, now everything we can see, because it's been 10 years.
10 years, yeah.
But it's such a heartwarming idea, and Nagi is such an honest filmmaker that comes across.
Yeah.
So I think that will always, that's always beautiful, and also to see all those ADs, grow older, and those the kid, mine and Vijay's the kid roles, they are engaged, and one is married and one is engaged, and one is is about to make his first film as a director.
Wow.
So that was all. I was suddenly feeling like the senior actor.
You're giving me the feel of going through an old photo album or something.
Correct.
Like
Yeah,
that,
that's how it felt. And I've seen a lot of ADs who were very young then, and now I see them with full grey hair, and they put on weight and they look very different.
Yeah.
So 10 years is sounding like a little time only, but after looking at them, I've realized 10 years is a lot.
Yeah. But one thing about that movie, we will come back to Hit, the third case, but just about that movie, I think one of the reasons that movie is liked by quite a lot of people is because almost everybody faces that dilemma that your character faces in that movie, because you're playing this corporate, materialistic, ambitious guy, and you want money, you want to move ahead in life. Everybody wants that. And then the Vijay Deverakonda character comes in. I think his name is Rishi or something. And he's like this free spirit hippie guy who's like, I will do what I want today. I'm going to live in the moment. And I think we all try to, in everybody, we want a Rishi inside us, but sometimes we find that the Subbu is driving the life forward.
Yeah.
And I think is why the movie, at least in the movie, that Rishi life is possible.
Correct. No, but that's the idea, sir. Also, so now a lot of times when you see what's in real life on screen, you might not like also. Like it could be very much like you, and if we are addressing it like oh no, Subhi is a very selfish guy or whatever, everybody is. But when you show it on screen with a lead role, you might not like it, but also you have a greater idea. You are trying to say something that is very Nagi.
Yeah.
Nagi is the one who believes in travel, who believes in doing things, whatever, whichever it takes him, that kind of a guy. And also I remember asking him, like, why me? For Subbu role, for Everyday Subramanian. Why do you think, why did you, because this guy looked like crazy, and he came up and he narrated me the story. And I remember having this conversation with him, and where he said, it's very easy to hate Subbu, and I want someone who they already think that it's their own, basically. Okay, I had that image of Nani is our boy. Okay, so I can't take that chance or risk of asking somebody else playing this role. It might go other way.
Yeah.
Where they might not again fall in love back. Okay, because by the end of the film, you have to again empathize with him. You have to feel that he has changed or whatever. So it is a big risk actually. It's a riskiest role in Everyday Subramanian to play. There are a lot of scenes where I actually come across as
Yeah.
So
and the other thing that strikes me is that you're starting off your career relatively, and I'm not saying this as like a bad thing, but there is sometimes people can have a little bit of insecurity when somebody else is coming along and having a very happy role and stealing all the scenes, and they are the likable character in the movie, like Vijay Deverakonda, right? It's like sometimes you can be like, oh my god, like people are going to like that person more than they, and you just went ahead with it.
I love that, and I've always pushed for those roles. I've in fact literally not just every day, with at least there are 7 or 8 instances in my career where I've made sure that the other roles are, placed above me, so there will be, because I'm already coming with a weight of, I'm already done films for 10, 15 years, so they need to be portrayed much better for all of us to feel like all the roles are equal when you're watching a film, because it's very easy to give the main lead fully author-backed role or whatever. But only for you to feel that it is a story and it's not about this one guy.
Yeah.
Then all the roles have to be written very well. And I always have this that a lot of films in my career have those very, very important roles which will at one part of the film will feel like the bigger roles. Yeah. But I only look at the film as a whole, and I haven't looked at it. In fact, it was like fully rooting and wanting to do it in a certain way, and also Vijay was also asking for a lot of. Vijay was full of doubts, and he all wants to learn everything. He wanted to come with me only wherever I went. He wanted to see me, talk or do my things or work. He used to ask me about everything. He used to call me. And I used to enjoy this process because I've been there. Yeah. I've done that. I didn't have anyone when I started off to ask or whatever. So it used to be very endearing when I used to, when he wanted to learn. So I took it up and I said, okay, come. And I used to, even in the shots, after the shot, we go and see in the monitor, right? I used to see his and say, this is very nice and all. My eye doesn't go on to me. It goes immediately on because we discussed how to do that role or this role. So I enjoy that process, sir. I think that's what makes the films a collective process, right?
So when you look at your life now, do you find that you've been able to get a little bit of that Rishi spirit in your life? Because I know that being a film star is a very you have to have that ambition, that drive.
I'm half Rishi, half Nani. There's definitely no Subbu in me. I'm still terrible with numbers or planning, or that's what my whole team says. I don't understand also. Even though I'm a producer and making films,
I only hit with court this year.
Correct. I look at the creative. I am only involved in the creative side. I've always ended up spending more money on the film. Every time my directors ask my production team something and they don't get it, they'll message me, and then I'll immediately approve it. I'll say okay, and these guys will come and ask me, how did you know that doesn't work out and all. I'm a very creative person. I'm a terrible at numbers guy. So, but at the same time now, I am why half Nani, half Rishi is. It's all cinema for me. Now I do what I love, like Rishi, but again there's only one thing I love. Now Rishi can go, he might want to cook in Goa, he might go that side and he might do something else. Next year he might do something else. I'm not that, so maybe half Rishi, half Nani. Yeah.
But isn't there some kind of I won't say calculation. Again, I'm not using it as a bad word, but see, you get Dasara. It's your first 100 crore hit. And you even put it out on social media, you're celebrating it. But the next film you choose is Hi Nana, which is what the industry would call a soft film.
Correct.
And probably there are people around you who said, you just gave this macho hit.
Correct.
Why are you doing this movie?
Yeah.
So,
but the same people told me when I okayed that macho hit also, that new guy, how are you trusting him? So there'll be always those people. It's what you feel, what you genuinely want to work on, what excites you. Now after Dasara, it's not about numbers at all, because now Dasara I have agreed because when he narrated it to me, when I heard the setup and all that, it felt like I haven't seen myself wearing that lungi, being very rustic with dust and all that, and just ringing all day and night. And having that emotion, everything about it, I really enjoyed it, and I thought as an actor, it will be a new process for me. What I've experienced till now, it will be a new process. Every day I go to the shoot, I'll get ready in a different way, I'll say my lines in a different way, I'll walk into a different looking set than what I've done before. So that's very exciting for me for next 6 months or 9 months. After getting drained out in this entire coal mines and everywhere shooting, I wanted to feel lighter. I wanted to wear some nice clothes, feel some emotion, and be a city guy. And so it is coming from what am I getting from films as experience? Not to say what is the right film to do after this film. No. So I think the variations in the genre also is happening because, not because I want to be called a versatile actor or something, or I'm pushing it for that. It is more for my own experience of trying out different things.
Yeah. No, so when obviously this is a very different movie because, but when hit the first case came to you, your producer on that, and Sailesh Kolanu, the director, and I just love the way he's directed the hit movies because they're so slick, the way he's written them, they're so. There's no like, usually sometimes people will do this. I know this is a Hollywood genre, but let's add some Indian elements and,
Correct.
try and make it
Correct.
more emotional. He's not done any of that, and in fact, one of the things I like about Hit 2 is that the girl's mother comes in when they both are living together.
Living
She
together,
kind of
yeah,
comes.
yeah.
It's very funny
Yeah,
in
it's
a
very funny,
movie.
yeah.
But
And they all stay together.
They all stay together.
Yeah.
But what I'm trying to say is that when the first film happened, you didn't want to act in it. Why?
He didn't pitch it to me.
Okay. So
He pitched it to me for guidance, and Shailesh is someone who looked at me like a mentor. He wanted to discuss with me. He got a channel. He used to tell me how much he loves films and his ideas and all that. I used to tell him, okay, for a film you need to be much more concrete and do. Then he told me hit one story. Then I already produced Then he said, then I said, you should only direct this film. He said he wanted to give away the story. Then he said, what you think I can do? If you have a right team, you can do. I will give you a team, is what I said. Then I asked him, I think he always told me later that he always wanted to me, that is his thing, ultimate thing for him to be directing me. But at that time, I don't think he said it out because maybe he thought it would be too much. He was just having a conversation and saying, do the film. So because he initially approached me to listen to the script for the production, I have some, ideas and stuff like that. So when I asked him, who do you want for this? He came up with 2-3 options. I'm not in that list. So I also it didn't happen. We didn't go in that direction. And then one of the options, Vishwak, happened for the first part.
And then Adivishesh happened. So what about the second part? That also he didn't know. He didn't have the.
Yeah, I think he didn't. Then once I said in second, when we wanted a cameo, that also he asked initially that will it be nice, no bro, if it started. Then I said, I remember that day still. I said, no, without telling this third part story, which actor will come in for a cameo? Should I do? I said. I remember the expression on his face. He was extremely excited. He left me a long message saying saying how excited he is, how it made his day. And before I came to the shoot, also he left a long message saying, oh, today is the day I will be saying action to my mentor or whatever. He put a very emotional message to me. That is when I realized, oh, this fellow was waiting but he couldn't tell me. Okay, now that I've done the cameo, now so it is a promise of a hit 3, right? The cameo itself.
Yeah.
So from then onwards, he's been on it.
Yeah, but it's always good to have a franchise, and this is an interesting franchise because all you're saying is this is a crime thriller. So this is a different crime thriller. Hit 2 is a different crime thriller.
It's a different case.
It's a different case.
And it's the same world but different cops handling.
Yeah.
Yes.
But you know what? This looks like it's going to be much gorier than the other 2 hits.
It is because of the idea.
It
is, yeah.
Because the trailer shows.
Gory is what I genuinely believe. So what I think is in the trailer, when you see the splashes and the blood and all that, suddenly up one after one, it feels like, oh, gory film coming. But I think when you're watching the film and you're following the story, you won't look at those visuals as gory visuals. You'll look at them as a part of the story. Oh, this happened. Now this will happen. Now this will happen. So you're following a thread. Now, when you don't know the story, when you're not emotionally connected into what is happening, and when you in a trailer see one after one, then this word comes into our mind. Oh, it looks gory.
No, yeah. I genuinely like a gory film.
Oh, perfect. Yeah.
I love fake blood.
Perfect. Yeah.
That's one of my favorite.
Then you love the film. I think. I hope so. Yeah.
So but the thing is, when again, when you're entering this universe, right? At least from the trailer, I'm seeing a slightly different Nani from the Nani that I've seen in Hainana, obviously Hainana, but even in Dasara, Saripoda, whatever it is, because there also you're playing characters with anger or issues or rage or whatever it is. Yeah. But how did you see this character as being a little different?
Just because now there is action, it'll all not look same in each film. The actors also approach is the same. What my performance depends on what the backstory of that guy is, right? So now in Saripoda, Surya is a guy who is a very happy guy only Monday to Friday. Only Saturday, even Saturday is the only day where he can address the issues of Monday to Friday. So he's a boy next door. So the performance meter, the body language, the aggression, everything comes from understanding that world. I have a father who is cracking jokes. I just met a girl and I have a childhood love story. That's on a different meter altogether. And for a Dasra, it comes from that world, right? Even though it is action. So for me here, Arjun Sarkar's backstory is what makes it. He's a very grumpy guy, very irritated all the time.
All are.
Huh? Yeah, all are in their own way.
Yeah.
But his equation with his parents, or how he is brought up, or the kind of job he is doing, changes the entire body. Now he's also I'm playing older than my age in the film. Arjun Sarkar is a 45-year-old. With the grey hair, salt and pepper look and all that, and no goal in his life, and he's someone who's on Tinder and all. He's a cop who's checking for a date also. And of course in trailer he looks like one powerful cop and all that. When you're watching the film, you'll realize he has all the weaknesses, insecurities, vulnerabilities of a 45-year-old. That midlife crisis is also happening for him. When the character is written in such a way, or the backstory is very clear, I think that influences the kind of performance you do. And once you start it in your first schedule, that kind of sets up the meter for the rest of the film. Initial 3-4 days of shoot, you'll keep thinking, should I do this, should I do that, should I? After that, it is like a muscle memory. Yeah.
Is this your first adults-only movie?
Yes.
Does that feel like an achievement?
Not really. Not like an achievement.
You want to do everything, right?
Correct, exactly. So I haven't looked at it like that. But I thought, this film definitely, I would be very disappointed if they didn't give A for it, because I don't want the kids to coming and watching this film. Because I will restrict my own kid from it. I don't want the kids to watch. So, this is the first film, but I'm not looking at it as an achievement or anything, but it is right for the. It is what it is.
It is what it is. So, there is a line that says in the trailer, and it's been picked up by a lot of people, that says, "You can't survive here." And then you says people have been saying, and then your character says, "People have been saying this to me since the beginning of my career." Is that a Nani reference? Let's clear this.
I think that is what Sailesh meant. Because I remember how excited he was when he said that to me and laughed about it. So I think it's his way of tribute to, him celebrating me in his own way, his understanding. So, could be. It is that meta kind of a line.
But that meta thing, did that really, when you were starting off Ashtachamma, all those movies, were there people telling you can't make it, or?
That I think anybody who would have had one long journey in cinema would have faced it at some point of time. And for me, especially, I know how after 6 films of hit, from the initial stages of my career, 2 films bomb or 1 film doesn't work, they used to write articles saying he's done, he's over. So, and it is not like that with others. Now, even there are people who survived, 20, 30 flops also in a row. But for me, I remember from the beginning of I'm just trying to understand why Sailesh would have said, but I had, and I'm sure a lot of others also would have had situations like this. But I remember I had the most success rate in the generation, and there were so many times, and I had 9 hits at one time. But any time 2 films back to back they don't work, immediately done, is over, the career is done, kind of articles used to be written. So I think it is not that they have anything against me, it is, I think they're little scared to write anything about, say something about someone else, but I was a safer target for them.
Easier target.
Easier, like oh, nobody will come behind us if we say something about Nani.
I think
he's a simple guy like us only.
Big meta thing happening here, which we will not go into. About who's being targeted and all that kind of stuff. But
but I think that's part. A lot of others also would have had this. It's
Yeah,
not
yeah.
just me. And anybody who would have survived here, or if I have to put it the way in the film, for so long, would have had this experience, not just me.
Which character that you've played is closest to the real life Nani?
Alamadulaindi in a way,
Yeah?
Hainana in a way, yeah. And how in Hainana, how he's with his daughter, I think I'm with my son. What are the other films? That's it in the recent I could think of, yeah.
So you're really that zone.
Yeah, yeah.
The other thing about these hit movies is whether it's Vishwak Sen, he's got PTSD in the first film. Advish is also in a dark zone because in the second case, he's also in a dark zone because one, he's chasing a very, very strange kind of killer, and second thing, his girlfriend is kidnapped when she's pregnant and all these kinds of things. You seem to be in a dark zone as well in this movie, and you've just explained to me that you're having a bit of a midlife crisis and all that. Would you say in a way that this is the darkest character you've played?
No, and maybe we and all, I played a killer and all that stuff, but not darkest in a way. But this now, for example, like we said in the trailer beginning, like doesn't have to have, personally get affected to do, it's enough to be a police officer to feel that way, that criminal should be in the ground or in the cell. So I think, like you said in the second part, the girl is kidnapped. This is less personal.
Okay.
But this has this film, we actually treated it in a very interesting new meter. The film will be real, right. Like 1 and 2, it will have that, like you were saying, right? We didn't take any of those forcefully putting the Indian things, but there are a few moments in this film which we have treated for the very theatrical experience.
Nice.
Yeah, because of the span of the film, because of the setup of the film, it was also organically fitting in.
Right.
Like it won't feel like suddenly it became a commercial film, or it won't feel like that, but the moment is like that.
Nice.
Now, for example, when you're watching 1 or 2, you might be excited about what unfolded on screen, or it could be a nice twist or something. In hit 3, it will be visually what happens also will give you that high, like adrenaline, like it's a very theatrical moment. It'll make you, shout, or for the regular audience, there are reasons to cheer in the theater. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. This one thing that I noticed about the trailer itself was that the hero had a little more macho feel than the first two guys.
Correct.
There was, because even the cigar was bigger.
Yeah. Oh, that I didn't notice. Okay.
Well, it is. So size apparently matters.
Cigar size? Okay.
But tell me, there is like when you do this, we are living in a very different world from, earlier we watched a film and we said it's just fiction, you leave it in the theater and you come home and you forget everything and all that. Now, there's every movie, there's this debate of, social responsibility. Will people get inspired by this? Will it affect society? This, that and all that. Me personally, I feel people have to watch movie as a fiction and come back. That's all it is. It's a piece of fiction. Yeah. And your reaction is whether it's well-made fiction or not. Yeah. But given this conversation, which is, again, that's what it is, what is your thought? Like, you're making a serial killer movie. Correct. And then potentially somebody could look at something here and say, I'm inspired or something like that. How do you look at that?
The other day also in the press meet or something, I was saying, somebody asked me the same question, and I was like, there are some other countries where the crime films are treated a lot more, brutally than graphically, and our crime rate is much lesser than in our country. So I genuinely don't see. For example, somebody else was also saying, they were saying somebody killed someone in a certain way and said they got that idea from a Malayalam film to do what they did. See, that guy's a criminal. He wanted to kill someone. After killing, what he did could be an idea he could have inspired. He would have killed anyway. Yeah. So what I'm saying is, nobody gets inspired to be a criminal watching a film. If you are a criminal, you're a criminal. You're just justifying yourself.
If you have that thing in you,
That thing in you, you're a criminal. You'll end up like a criminal. You do something or the other, you'll become that person. When somebody asks you, why did you do it? You might justify it with that. You might, because you are a criminal, you will watch that film in a different way. That film is being watched by a lot of people. They didn't perceive it like that. So you would have got that inspiration from something else, from some tree, from something else. You would have made it for yourself. You are just telling yourself that. So now, for example, I know a lot of people who are like mad fans of, violent films. And they're extremely sweet people. Nice people. They don't want to hurt anyone. So I'm saying films don't do that. You are that person, we cannot do anything about it. And it will not, even if the films were not there, not that you would have been a good person because that films didn't release. No, it will not work like that. You would have found your way. You would have become that person. For maybe you would have had your own some other reasons. That's all. This is the Telugu they say vanka. You push it onto the film because it's easier to.
Yeah. No, but I agree with at least in my case, because I don't like confrontation, right? So when it happens on screen, I feel like somebody is living the life that I may want to lead. That's like I'm not an action guy or whatever.
Even with a lot of people, even with the love scenes or the romantic scenes, all those things which you cannot do it in a. Why do you think all this flamboyant, like walking in slow motion in hills and these songs work? Because you don't do that in life. So why is it only violence you want to look at it that way? Oh, you do it because I do it. No, it's not that. That's all.
It's everything.
Yeah.
Looking back, is there one film that you can say, that's a character I really nailed, that's my best performance?
See, I genuinely feel it has everything to do with writing.
Right.
And I think that kind of writing and the performance came together in Jersey is what I think.
Nice. Yeah. I think that's also one of your most loved films.
It is.
Yeah.
Everything fell in place.
Everything fell into place, right? Yeah.
Because I feel actors or directors or DOPs, we're all as good as our script. The same actor would look terrible in one film, would look great in a film. So what is the difference? It is the writing. It is. So same DOP applies to DOP, applies to director, applies to everyone. I feel we're all as good as our scripts, and when things fall in place, everything falls in place. Yeah.
But again, I know that you don't like this word stardom, and you're kind of trying to choose projects simply.
I'm fine. I'm okay with it now that I've been.
No, what I mean is you're not choosing projects just for stardom. That's what you're saying. But today, will Nani, because Nani is no longer just an actor. There is a Nani and there is a business around Nani, right? That's everywhere.
Correct.
Will this Nani be able to make a Jersey today?
100%.
Okay.
Now,
it's a story of a failed cricketer.
Correct.
Right.
Now, I would jump in right now.
Okay.
So, this Nani is constantly wanting to, explore and get to more and more audience, so he can show the next time Jersey to an even bigger crowd.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. That's
I'm trying to win more and more audience, not to increase the numbers or not to be called a star. So that every 2-3 films, I will want to make a film. I wish to make a film like Jersey, and I want to take it to 2 or 3 times the people who saw Jersey first time when it released. So it is an attempt to, reach out to more people in the end.
Is there any film of yours that you look back and say, maybe you don't want to name it, I don't know if this is a fair question, but I wish that had done better at the box office?
Anti Sundaran.
That's last time we spoke about it.
Yeah,
that's the only film.
I wish that would have done better at the box office. Because rest everything, I have a feeling that it didn't do for a certain reason. No,
I don't know why it didn't.
Why it didn't do well. So I cannot suddenly chumma wish for it to do well. I would wish that there are 2 films which came in OTT because of COVID.
Right. One is Stuck Jagdish.
One is Stuck Jagdish and one is We. Both of the films got a lot of flack on social media, a lot of reviews and all. I wish to see both of those films. I wish to know what would have happened if those 2 films came into theatre.
Into theatres.
In a festive season.
So you believe in Stuck Jagdish? That's kind of.
No, I'm not believing in it. We have done it for theatre. And it is like, for example, it is, I make a cap, I shouldn't sell it in Tirumala, right?
You're talking to the right person.
I can sell it to you. So no, what I'm trying to say is, you understood the
I know,
example.
yeah.
No, I'm saying the film's idea was not to make. When we started itself, we're not confident about the reviews for those films. We thought it will pump in a certain kind of adrenaline in theater. Now, one mainstream actor playing one eerie, every time he walks in, we thought there will be some whistles or some sound, one theater energy will be there. Tag Jagdish is an ode to a very age-old, Telugu one family drama where during the festive time, the ladies, everyone with families will go and they'll feel for the character. And there were a number of instances where during the festive season, much more template films released and were blockbusters. But it was being judged in OTT as a, like, what is the quality, in a very review sense, those two films. And we knew these films will not have, great reviews or anything, 100% for sure. But by then, if the box office success happens off, it will not matter how the reviews are. But then it directly ended up there. We tried to push it as much as we can. We couldn't because it was kept on going the first lockdown. And both the films landed up there. Not that now I'm not saying that I claim that this will be what I would love to see, because the idea was that when we started off those two films, we were not trying to make a film which will be appreciated by technically or whatever. We were trying to make a film which will hype up things and which will release in a festival time or whatever, and it was for the a different purpose, but it landed up there. So I'll always wonder what would have happened.
No, and you're right in a way, because there are a lot of films today that work in the theaters, and when people see them and they're celebrated and they become, and people see them on OTT and say, I don't know what the fuss is, or
correct.
But the job is done. But the job is done. Yeah.
So I would just want to know. I wonder if the job would have been done.
Yeah, that's nice. And finally, what would you like to tell us about the small movie you're doing called Paradise?
I like the way you said it. Yeah.
So it's from what Shrikant Odella says, it's a story of the oppressed, but told in a very Mad Max kind of way.
Not in a Mad Max, not the English film Mad Max, but in a very mad way, basically.
In a mad way. Okay,
in a film set in 30 years back only, in a city backdrop only, but dealt like Vikings, but directed by Rajmouli. You understood the crazy combination. So to get a high out of every scene and to deal it very, very differently. It's fictional, it's period, but we will 50-60% we'll try to match with the facts of how the place is, how the costumes were and all that. We're also a little going overboard with few things. And I think that will be extremely exciting. It's exciting grammar for a screen.
Right.
And the way he planned the scenes, which I'm hearing now, that guy has a different kind of a vision altogether. He understands the screen energy in a different way.
Yeah.
And all of the things he has done in Dasara, which got him a lot of praise and all that, he's very disappointed with it now. He thinks he will never do anything like Dasara anymore. He thinks it's a very weak work of his. And I see that quality taking him to places we might not anticipate right now. And I am seeing him daily work, right? I think we are in for something amazing by the end of this journey for Paradise.
Right. And that's your next project, right?
That's my next film. We're starting shoot on May 2nd, and I'll be joining 10 days later.
Nice. So all the best for Paradise.
Thank you.
Really looking forward to that. But I'm also, before that, I'm looking forward to, now I'm wondering how I should finish this. Maybe this one. It's like, wow, this is like.
That got stuck.
That got stuck. But this is wonderful. I'm like, all the best for Hit. You should also.
You'll hold it, huh? Okay, should I? Sure. This is also a dummy one only.
Yeah. So seriously, like, all the best for Hit.
Thank you, sir.
Third case.
We've done a ritual before the release of the film. I hope you like this film.
Since
you like blood.
Yeah. This was very cool holding this. So thank you. So, it's very strange. Just like a small thing. I went to Vietnam, and obviously one of the things that they show you is the places where the Viet Cong were and stuff like that. And they suddenly said, "Would you like to fire a machine gun?" and I didn't know. One part of me was like, I've never touched a gun in my life. This is a machine gun. Like do I even want
A
it?
real one.
A real one.
Yeah,
Do I want to do that? Then another part of me is like, that'll be so cool. I mean, like, just do it.
You'll at least know what
It's like. And I actually fired that. Obviously, there's like all these people around me, taking care of all that and making, all that stuff. But it's like, but it just sent one strange feeling through you that suddenly you become like, I think it's some.
One thing is, once you fire the real machine, I think you will not be able to enjoy the firing on films as much as you did. Yeah.
You fired the real machine?
I did.
Okay.
I did, and you'll know you will know the reflex. You'll know the impact it happens. So if someone is doing pop 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 pop, it'll all feel a little suddenly because it is the weight. See now what happens if they use dummy guns in the film. The original is heavy.
Okay.
Right. Then once you understand that, it won't be the same again.
Okay.
Films won't be the same.
What I'm thinking?
Yeah.
In what context should Nani use a real gun?
Which one? I know. I've shot in the training range.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. When I was in US, I've
Done that. Okay.
just practiced for the target. That's all. But it is obviously the dummy bullets, but the machine is the real one.
Yeah, but I think that's why even when you look at the blood, even 10 years back and today's blood, the fake blood, it's much realer.
Real.
Much
We're
like
getting better actually. Now,
Yeah.
for example, we have shot with Lee Whitaker in this film. He's a Hollywood technician, and the way they operate, again, they make it very believable. They continuously told me that I cannot, no matter what, there was a huge fight happening, I cannot put my finger on the trigger at any cost. Until you fire, you cannot take it in our films. It's always on the trigger, right?
Yeah.
It's always on the trigger. Hand always should be on the rifle. Like you just touch it and keep. Don't go onto the trigger. Touch it and keep.
Because it might accidentally fire. Is that it?
Because when you're moving, one small push will fire it.
Oh, right.
And there are so many accidents which happen like that. And not because it'll happen on the set because it's dummy bullets anyway.
Yeah.
But it'll look fake. That it'll show that you're not a cop. You're not trained in the film.
Yeah.
So there are a lot of things which it does. Sometimes our stunt guys, they're not extremely careful.
Yeah.
The Hollywood guys are extremely careful because they get sued if something goes wrong.
Yeah.
So every time he comes, he checks it again, he checks it on somebody else, he opens it, he shows it to me, he shouts fire in the hole. Everybody has to reconfirm again, his assistants and everyone, they have to cross check again. One take, he'll do it on the assistant or someone, only then we can walk into the set. So the kind of, because they are so careful because they understand weapons.
Lovely.
Yeah.
So again, all the best for Hit, and I hope to enjoy the movie and also get a few instructions on how to, handle a real gun. Maybe that'll be kind of fun. So thank you so much, Nani. Always a pleasure meeting you.
Same, sir. Thanks a lot.